It's 54 degrees at 8:09. Good morning to you. Here we are on Monday, May the 22nd. And with me on the phone is a local author. She's been on with us before, who is ready to talk about her third novel, which is being published a week from tomorrow. Jode Millman is here. Jode, good morning.
Good morning, Kate. How are you?
Oh, I'm just great. It's so nice to talk to you again. We got to meet once. Let's see. You were at a book signing in Rhinebeck, maybe?
Yeah,
And
at the Oblong. That's right.
Oblong
That's right.
Books, yes. And you write. Now, it's called legal thrillers. Is that pretty much the genre?
It's legal thrillers, or sometimes they're called police procedurals, because I have two actually main characters, and one is a cop, and one is a lawyer. They're both lady cops and lady lawyers, and so it really branches on both of those genres.
Yes.
But if people like mystery or suspense or romantic suspense, it's all there for them.
But they'll know the locations because you base it on Poughkeepsie. The series is called Queen City Crimes novels. So
Right. It's exactly.
and people will recognize some of the places that you describe, and they may even recognize some of the stories, because nobody has to ask you, where do you get your ideas from, Jode? You get them from page 1 of the newspaper, but then you take the story and turn it into a work of fiction, right?
Exactly. But, it honestly, Kate, it goes deeper than that, because in the Queen City Crime series started out with the first book, which is The Midnight Call, because I had a personal connection to the crime. And that was that my junior high school history teacher turned out to actually be a killer 10 years after I graduated from high school. So that was a crime I knew. I knew the killer. I knew the family of the victim. I knew the cops. I knew the investigators, the judges, and the attorneys. I knew everybody involved with the crime. So that is really what inspired me to write the first crime. And honestly, I just anticipated it was going to be a standalone. That means, write one book and that's it. But then at the last minute, I thought, this might be the beginning of a series. So I put in a cliffhanger at the end of the first book, which led to the second book, which was Hooker Avenue. And Hooker Avenue, again, I had a connection to, because there was a series of disappearances of prostitutes during the period from 1996 to 1998. And it turns out these women were being solicited off the steps of my law office in the city of Poughkeepsie.
I did not realize you had that close a connection. Whoa.
Yeah, and we didn't know it either until September of 98, when it was on the front page of the Poughkeepsie Journal. We realized these women were being solicited from our front steps, taken to Kendall Francois' house, and they never left his house, needless to say. So I had a really close connection to that one. And then this last one, actually, you and I might have a close connection to, because it all started at WPDH.
Okay.
Because one of the DJs that worked there, Mike Colvin, was involved with a woman named Angelica Grasswald. And she and Mike broke up. But then she went on to date a guy named Vincent Viafor. And in, I think it was in April of 2015, they were engaged. They went out canoeing and paddling, kayaking on the Hudson River. They went over to Bannerman's Island. On the way back, got caught in a storm, and she came back, but he never did.
Yes, I remember
the title
reading
of
about
my
it.
third book,
Yes.
EMPTY KAYAK.
The Empty Kayak. And that's the book that goes on sale next Tuesday, which people can pre-order now. But now what you do with the stories, though, you take the premise of what really happened, but then you fictionalize it. How do you do that?
Well, it's interesting, because each one of these crimes, I see it as a kernel. And I take that kernel, the what if a couple were kayaking on the Hudson and only one person came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've created these cast of characters over the series. I have Jodé Martin, who's a single mom who's an attorney who's trying to get her life together. I've got a cop named Ebony Jones. She's the only female detective. She's the only, biracial woman on the force. And, so I've taken these two characters and then I kind of insert them and build the story around this actual true crime novel.
Right. So
it really serves as the basis, a jumping off point for the adventures and misadventures of my characters.
Okay. So it begins with a real event, but you're not ever, just so that people know, you're not ever claiming that this is exactly the way everything went down in the real life event. You fictionalized it and made a story and created characters who react and act and find things out as they go. And the ending of your books may not be the exact same ending as real life.
Well, what's interesting is that when my books are what's called inspired by, I take a true event and I'm inspired and I kind of make it my own. It's not based upon. Based upon is like when you watch. There was one on HBO about a woman who fell down the stairs. I forget the name of the story, but that's based upon they stick very strictly to the actual facts of the story.
Okay.
So, but what I do is, and I don't want to drop any clues, but I try to keep as close to the actual story as possible.
Right.
And it kind of, in a way, it boxes me in because I know where point A is, I know where point Z is.
Yeah.
And so my story takes place in that area in between.
Okay.
So I don't want to reveal who did it, because they're suspects. It's a mystery. They're suspects.
That's right.
And we have to figure out who did it.
That's right. And you have won some awards for your writing. Now, when you and I met at that book signing at Oblong Books, I think I remember you saying that it took you so long to write the first book, The Midnight Call. But now, like 5 minutes later, you've got two other novels too. This has really taken off for you, and it's unlocked something inside of you, I think. And now you're just ready to tell stories.
Well, it's interesting that, and the first book, and this is something that I learned in writing the Empty Kayak. The first book, you have all the time in the world to write it because you're writing it, you're trying to figure out what's going on. It takes you a while to get published. It took me 9 years to get the first book published. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I switched to another publisher. They republished the first book, but I'd already had Hooker Avenue in the hopper because I knew I wanted to write and I wasn't going to wait till I was published in order to start my second book. So I had the advantage of when I received my new contract of having a book that was like 3/4 written.
Okay.
However, with this last book, I literally had to write it in a year, a little over a year. And that's something I'd never done before. And I'm not sure I want to do again.
You had to. Now, tell me why you felt that you had to. Was it that your publisher was saying, come on, let's go? Or was it just something inside you that said you have to write it?
Well, I had a 3-book contract.
Okay.
I knew when I was going in, I knew the book. In other words, when I signed that contract in my head, and somewhere scribbled, on pieces of paper, I had the outline of that third book of The Empty Kayak. But I had a 3-book contract, and it was I had to release a book every year, and that's people don't realize that. They look at James Patterson, and they go, okay, he's releasing a book every year. That's because he's under contract to do it. So it's a job. As much as I love doing it, the last one I've been crazy about having the pressure of having to do it in a year. That's why I'm saying the next one, which is already percolating in my head. I want to take a little time off and I want to have a little fun because I've been writing solidly or in the process since 2019. So, over 4 years I've written or promoted, 3 books.
Yes. And well, you had all of COVID to be home and write. I guess at least you had that as a positive sort of, but you've won some awards now. Here I'm looking at the Hooker Avenue won first place award at the Clue 2022 Seaboat winners for suspense and thriller mysteries, And let me see. I clicked away from where I was on your website showing some other things. And by the way, on your website, I love the scarf that you're wearing in your photo.
Yeah, it's
Skulls,
a lot of fun.
black
It's a
and red,
skeleton.
and yes, you could tell that she writes novels about yes, police things and mysteries and yeah. But you have won all kinds of awards for your writing for your first book, even.
Yeah,
Congratulations for all of that.
I've been very fortunate. I mean, these awards aren't given out lightly. I mean, they're judged. So it's not like they're popularity contests. So I feel very fortunate that people who have, that when thrown in the pool, my books rise to the top. I'm really, really proud of that. Especially, I won this Hooker Avenue recently was an honor. I was a finalist for the American Fiction Award. It won the Independent Press Award. It just won first place for, as you mentioned, the Clue Award. And I mean, I'm really, really excited about that. And it really, sometimes I have to pinch myself. It's just really kind of exciting. I really have to pinch myself because I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I love storytelling, and really it's an outgrowth of what I think I've done all my life. I mean, when you're a lawyer, you have to tell stories. You're telling your client's story. You're telling it to a judge or a jury. You're trying to persuasively make your case to the other side. So, I mean, this really is an outgrowth of legal storytelling. I think I've, taken it to the next level for me, and I feel I'm really still learning, but I really enjoy it.
I'm so glad. And I want to hear what you're working on next, whatever you're allowed to tell us, whatever you wish to tell us. But we need to take a quick break first. Jode Millman is our guest right now on Wall Radio. You can go to our website, jodemillman.com. And Jode is spelled Jode, Millman.com. Check out her books. This is Wall Radio, 823, 55 degrees. My guest on the phone is local author Jode Millman, whose third novel, The EMPTY KAYAK, is available now for pre-order, but it officially comes out a week from tomorrow, May 30th. It's called The EMPTY KAYAK. And Jode, I love the cover art. Tell me about the cover art. Is that a local artist that did that?
Well, I'll tell you the story behind this. The publisher gives you generally 3 covers to choose from, and you describe what you want on the cover, and then you get it back. So the choices I received were, I cried when I saw them because I was really kind of disappointed.
Oh.
So what I did was I'd taken a class, a legal class on artificial intelligence. And there was this program called DALL-E, DALLE2, which is an art program. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go and see what I can create on the internet. So I went to this program and I typed in what I wanted on the cover. And all of a sudden I received like 50 choices of art that could possibly make the cover. And I started refining it. So between myself and this computer program from OpenAI and my publishing company, we came up with the cover.
I love it. Yeah, there's the bridge in the background, and it looks like a Hudson River crossing bridge. I'm not sure which one it looks like, but it looks like one of them. And then there's a reddish-orange kayak with nobody in it, and just the paddles sitting there, and it's floating. And it does look ominous. Rightly so.
Yes.
Rightly
I was really excited when I was able to put this together. And I mean, I don't know if you know, but my background is art. That's what I studied in college. That was my minor. So it's not like I, wasn't familiar with art and what I was looking for. So it really, I mean, I hate to put artists out of work, but in this instance, you can see what the technology is available that can assist us. I don't think we should rely on it 100%, but I do see artificial intelligence, especially in art, as something that can assist us. But that's a whole discussion for another time.
Wow. Yes. As long as it doesn't start writing your books for you. You don't want that. So I
do not want that.
Can I ask what's coming up next? I mean, you haven't even got this book out yet, and I'm asking, what are you going to write next? But I'm sorry, I got to ask, What are you thinking about?
I know that it's going to be inspired by another local crime, and I think this time it's going to be a standalone, which means for a while I'm going to let my characters of Jesse and Ebony sit, and I'm going to try something else. So we'll see. It's all in the very preliminary phases. It's in, the cobwebs of my mind right now.
Okay,
but
so this
I'll let
one,
you know, Kate, as soon as I know.
I trust you. Thank you. So this one, you don't have a contract and you don't have a deadline just yet.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
that's good. So you're not under that kind of pressure, and you can ease into it and do what you want. But 3 books in 4 years, is that what you did? That's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
That's really good.
And, yeah. So I think this one I'm anticipating hopefully it coming out not next year but the year after. So it gives me a year to write on it and research it, because I do an incredible amount of research whenever I start a book. And this one, the EMPTY KAYAK, I have to tell you, I spoke to a aquatic forensic specialist. There's a gal up in Ashokan. I spoke to the police officers, the firemen, kayakers. There's a tremendous amount of research that goes into putting the stories together, because I want to make sure that they are factually accurate. That's important to me.
Yes, certainly. You don't want people to come to some part in the story and say, wait a minute, she did what? No, of course. You do a lot of research. And now, are you still a practicing attorney on top of all of that?
Well, yes, no. I do. I practice known as friends and family law. I keep my license, so if somebody needs a deed or something like that or gets a parking ticket, I'm there for them. But other than that, no. This takes up most of my time. This is my job. I do it every day. This is what I do.
That's a wonderful second career. Congratulations for everything, all of the progress that you've made, for all of the work, and you've got physical results for it, and people can pre-order it now wherever they want to buy books. I did look you up on Amazon. It's there at Amazon.com. You don't have it in audiobook format yet.
Not yet.
I want to audition. I'm just telling you. I will audition to narrate any of your books when you decide to. And just want to let people know the EMPTY KAYAK is now available for pre-order by Jode Millman. You can look up the information on the website, jodemillman.com, or you can find it through Amazon or wherever you buy books, hopefully at your local bookstores, because shopping local is good too. Jode, thank you so much for being with us today. We're so proud of you. I just can't imagine the thrill that you must have of seeing your name on this book. And if I can make it up to Rhinebeck, I know that you have another event at Oblong Books in June. I'll see if I can make it there too.
I really hope to see you, yes, on June 27th. And I'm going to be in conversation with a friend of mine. Her name is Suzanne Chazen. So it will be 2 women crime writers this time. So it should be interesting, a lot of fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. Local author Jode Millman and the EMPTY KAYAK. Thanks, Jode.
Thanks again, Kate.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. It's 8:30 at Wall Radio. Let's check in with CBS for news headlines.